Do you want to update your bathroom, but you don't want to spend a bajillion dollars?
Yes.
Same. That's why I'm making this video, to show that you can make a big difference with a few little upgrades and not a ton of money. Hi, we're back in the basement. I'm actually sitting on the floor of the bathroom in this weird little corner because I wanted to show off this amazing original wall paneling.
How very.
I love a lot about this bathroom, the original lucite towel bars and this really cool toilet paper holder. It honestly was the whole reason I went with the 70s vibe in the basement. With that said, I'm not doing a full-on gut renovation like I did in the bathroom on the main level, but it does need some upgrades. This video is more about giving your bathroom a refresh without totally having to tear it apart. I want to show that you can make your bathroom feel like new with just a few little tweaks. And this little 70s beauty for sure needs them. There's some chipping spots in the mud, so I need to fix that before I can paint. I'm pretty much painting everything in here, like the ceiling and the trim, as well as the existing shelves and these doors on the cabinets. I'm using the same warm white that I used in the rest of the basement, so there's a flow, you know? The light fixtures are a little sad to me, as well as the mirror and the sink faucet, so I'm going to be swapping those out for something a little bit more modern. I'm for sure leaning into the 70s aesthetic in here, but I think with these little updates, it's going to make it feel a little more intentional. So enough of me blabbing, let's get to it.
Okay, let's go.
First thing I had to do was get rid of all the old chip mud. I used a flathead screwdriver for this. I don't know if that's the proper tool, but it worked out great at getting rid of all those little loose bits. I went around the whole ceiling doing this to make sure that I didn't miss anything. Even if there was a tiny little crack, I went in on it because I didn't want it to get bigger. Above the sink had the worst damage, so I really went to town over here. And once all that was cleared out, it was time to mud. I used joint compound to patch all the holes I made. I decided to go with the small spackling knife since I figured it would be good for all the little nooks in here, and it totally was. I ended up having to do 3 coats of mud to make everything level out, but I was kind of expecting that. Corners are always tedious with mud, but with each layer I put on, it looked better and better. Once all that dried out, it was time to sand. I opted to wet sand, which I usually do. I just like this technique better. It's essentially just dampening a sponge. You have to squeeze out most of the water, but then you just rub it down and there's no dust. I feel like I have a little bit more control this way. I like doing it like this, but honestly, it's totally personal preference. After I finished all that, I gave it a good 24 hours to really dry, and then I started cutting in and painting the trim with the primer. I'm using Kills 2 for the primer. I think it's good for the bathroom. I also bought this little cutting in brush, which I really like. I did 2 coats of primer to even everything out. I went in with a 3/8 inch snap roller to do the rest of the ceiling. And then I was able to do 2 coats of the warm white color. It's called Polar Bear by BEHR. After all that had dried, I removed the painter's tape and I was ready for the next step. Alright, phase 1 done, so now I'm going to take these cabinet doors off and get those painted, as well as the shelves and the vents. When all that's drying, I'm going to get to work on putting in the new sink faucet that I got, as well as changing out these old lights because they're not that cute. I also got a new mirror, so this little vanity area is going to feel way better. I did 2 coats of primer with the Kills 2 again, and then it was 2 more coats of the Polar Bear. The top shelf was too long, so I cut it down to the same size as the other one. And then it was 2 coats of primer and 2 coats of paint for these 2. I got some warm white spray paint to use on the vents and all the other little things like the screw heads and stuff like that. While all that was drying, I took out the old sink faucet.
Disgusting!
Super gross. I took out the old mirror next. I was really debating whether or not I should replace this because I like the little lines on the bottom, but ultimately I ended up getting a new one. And then it was time for the new lights. So much better. After I gave the sink a good scrub, I taped it off and did a bead of silicone caulk, so that was all nice and fresh. I let that dry for 24 hours and then I installed the new brass faucet. It makes the vanity look brand new. I don't know, just that one little thing really made a difference. Then I hung the mirror. I used a laser level for this because it has 2 hooks, but you totally don't need that. I just have it, so I used it. A plain old level totally works. And there we go, we got our new vanity area. I just hung these cabinet doors back up, so it is time to put the rest of this bathroom back together. I think this bathroom is as done as it's gonna get, so let's take a look. Into it. I know it's not a huge change in here, but the little updates I did do does make it feel so much better. My favorite thing is probably all the new vanity stuff. The new lights, mirror, and sink faucet fit with the 70s aesthetic, so I think it all works. Hopefully this video shows that you can make your bathroom a little bit more your style without having to do too much. Anyway, I would love to hear what you think, so let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. If you want, you can push that like button to let me know you were into it. Subscribe if you want to do that as well, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Use your words, Marcella.